Hey guys, welcome back to Swish, where we bring you the most unforgettable moments from the world of basketball. In this video, we'll be counting down the top moments that shocked the NBA world. From shocking trades to unexpected retirements, these moments left fans and analysts alike stunned and amazed. So grab your popcorn and get ready for a wild ride as we take a trip down memory lane and relive some of the most jaw-dropping moments in NBA history. Tim Donaghy was known as a respected official in the NBA after 13 years of officiating professional basketball games. He had officiated 772 NBA games and 20 postseason games and is most recognized as one of the officials that took part in the Indiana Pacers and Detroit Pistons brawl and Rasheed Wallace's mortal enemy. On June 20, 2007, the NBA's name would be tarnished after the reports started to come in that Tim Donaghy had been placing bets worth tens of thousands of dollars on a number of games in the 2005 and 6 season and the 2006 and 7 season as well. Stephen A. Smith had reported that Donaghy was in substantial debt and looked at the NBA as a means of getting out of debt by betting on NBA games that he'd sometimes officiate. A gambling expert would do extensive research on games Donaghy officiated and found a number of significant oddities, including teams scoring more points than Las Vegas expected 57% of the time, and 10 consecutive games that Donaghy officiated where the point spread would move before the tip due to large amounts of money being wagered on the game. Donaghy would also out other referees claiming that they were in on it as well, including Bennett Salvatore, who was one of the most respected in the game. Tim's allegations, whether they were true or false, are still held in a negative light and making the NBA into a conspiracy theory with the thought of referees tampering with every game where there is a bad call or two. Speaking of bad calls, the 2002 Western Conference Finals was an affair to remember, not just for the impressive play from both teams in the 7-game series, but for the possible tampering in a decisive Game 6 that would be the jump-off point for NBA conspiracy theorists everywhere. A number of questionable calls occurred in the WCF, and it included Mike Bibby being elbowed to the floor without a call, touch fouls that weren't called before somehow being noticed now, and the fact that the Lakers took 18 more free throws than the Kings did in the fourth quarter. Critics of the officiating in the game became even more skeptical when they found out about the infamous Tim Donaghy, and a number of other officials had set up the series to go 7 games, and for the Los Angeles Lakers to win the series. The Lakers attempted 40 free throws overall, with a ridiculous 27 being taken in the fourth quarter. Nearly every big man in the Kings was in foul trouble, with Blade Divick, Chris Webber, Scott Pollard, and Lawrence Funderburk combining for 20 fouls, and Divick and Pollard fouling out. Los Angeles would go on to win the game and the series after the Kings lost it themselves in Game 7 by shooting 50% from the foul line and 10% from beyond the arc. Whether the series was truly fixed is unknown, but without a doubt, this series goes down as one of the most memorable for more reasons than one. Dennis Rodman's career has a storied career at that, and as an NBA player with the Detroit Pistons, San Antonio Spurs, the Bulls, the Los Angeles Lakers, and Dallas Mavericks. He has established himself as arguably the greatest rebounder in NBA history at only 6'6", and has 5 NBA championships to show for it. While Rodman's on-the-court performance captivates us, it's his off-the-court and sometimes on-the-court activities that made NBA fans love Rodman. Dennis became known for coloring his hair a different color every game, giving his jersey to a fan after every game, and giving 110% every time he stepped on the court. While he wasn't impressing the NBA with his incredible rebounding and defensive abilities, he was in the tabloids. He would have noteworthy relationships with Madonna and Carmen Electra, where the two of them would be arrested for assault charges against each other. Rodman would also show up to autograph signings in a wedding dress and makeup, fighting in the WCW and getting into an argument and near fight with nearly every opposing player he went up against. His most memorable altercation would be as a member of the Bulls, when he tripped over cameraman Eugene Amos and reacted by kicking Amos in the groin. For some reason, Amos would need a stretcher and would be given $200,000 by Rodman for essentially getting kicked in the leg. Many people remember Rodman for his dazzling hardwood performances, but it was all of his off-the-court and extracurricular activities that most people will always remember Rodman for. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal have a lot to do with their name. Their championships are being recognized as one of the greatest duos in NBA history, and have made the two teammates into legends of the hardwood. Shaq and Kobe have each reached their own legacy to their names with 9 combined championships between the two. It all came apart in the summer of 2004 when Shaquille O'Neal received the trade that he had demanded for years for. Even as teammates, the two sent vocal jabs to each other, with Shaq calling Bryant selfish at times and Kobe criticizing O'Neal's maturity and his numerous comments against Kobe and the Lakers team as a whole. With O'Neal on the Miami Heat and Bryant remaining a Laker, their Christmas Day matchup was the highest-rated NBA game in 10 years. Everybody turned into ABC that day to see how the two would react to each other and if they would greet each other before tip-off. They did not, and the feud lived on. Shaq would continue to call Kobe the other guy in interviews, while Bryant idly sat by and had no public comments towards Shaq in a positive or negative light. During the 2006 season, the two would begin to reconcile, with Shaq praising Kobe's 81-point performance, and the both of them are seen talking to each other during the All-Star weekend. It wasn't until the 2009 NBA All-Star Game that Kobe and Shaq would play together for the first time since their Laker days. They would go on to win co-MVPs of the All-Star Game MVP. Overall, Shaq would go on to win the battle, winning 6 out of the 10 games between the two, but Kobe would win the war, winning 2 championships to Shaq's 1. The 1998-99 NBA season was set to become the 53rd year of the professional basketball. It still didn't start until February 5, 1999, nearly 5 months after the usual regular start of the season. Due to disputes between the players and owners, the season was delayed for months, and it appeared that the NBA would go through its first year without basketball in over 5 decades. It wouldn't be until a 6-year collective bargaining agreement was reached between the league and the players that the season would get back on track, and even then, in the 1998 and 99 season was one of the strangest. The season was shortened to only 50 games. The Los Angeles Clippers tied the record for most losses to start a season with 17, and finishing with a league-worst 9-41 record. The New York Knicks became the second 8th seed to defeat a number 1 seed when they knocked off the Miami Heat in 5 games. The Knicks were considered an 8th seed despite being only 6 games behind the Heat in their division. The Knicks would also become the only 8th seed to make the NBA Finals when they met the San Antonio Spurs in the championship and eventually lose in 5 games. The Spurs set a milestone of their own when they became the first former ABA team to win the championship. Even though the season was shortened, the 1998-99 featured some of the most memorable moments in NBA history. That was all from this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.